Alrighty, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about the very unique genes that you get with Aboriginals. There's about 3 different genes that you'll see that are just absolutely unique to them. You'll never see it in white people, just as you're not going to see a blue-eyed Chinese person. It's one of these things that they've sort of, certain genes are in the gene pool that stayed in there and are still in there today. Two of these genes hang on extremely well, and even in people that are literally 1/8 Aboriginal, they show strong signs of these genes. But another gene you don't see a great deal, you don't see all the time in all Aboriginals, and I'll talk about that first. Now, it's skinny legs. There you go, there's a guy and his wife with their kid who's probably about 7. How skinny the legs are. Now, you mightn't really see it much on a computer screen. I'm having trouble finding any really good images of it. When you see it in the real, it's shocking. You don't know how their legs don't snap off. One ain't wearing pants. There's a lot of photos of no one wearing pants. There's the other boy. This is taken in 1964. Look how thin their legs are compared to the rest of them. Even that boy there with no pants on. Like, it's just surprising how thin their legs can be. You know, versus, oh well, here's a white woman. Here's your standard size legs, or at least in a woman. And that's your Aboriginal kid legs. They're like little sticks. Can't help myself, I've got to show you another one here. Ever seen videos of the 4-year-old getting the gun? Yeah, well, the 3-year-old gets the spear. I think that's literally a 3-year-old. Yeah, here's this one's a photo from the 1920s in Marble Bar, which is exceedingly hot place, shockingly hot, where they've got all these, they call them thunder eggs. It's like these round rocks that you crack in half and they're crystals inside, or something like that. And there's a big heap of marble there, like an entire big sheet of it underneath the earth as one of the geographical layers, I believe. It's called Marble Bar, but these guys are really tall, actually, the two warriors. One on the left is 6'7", and the one on the right 6'5". But once again, look at the blooming legs, you know? Skinny ass. Now, you won't see that in all of them. It's more particularly Noongars of the southern part of Western Australia. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in the desert Aboriginals too, because I heard of someone that's basically in Broken Hill, which is like, you just keep going right up to the top of our state and then keep going straight into desert. It's a mining town where one of the biggest mining the biggest mining corporation in the country and one of the biggest in the world, a lot more profitable and well managed than most, that's now become a multinational, was founded off the back of that huge mine, and it is the most blue chip of blue chip companies. But anyway, here's a meme. Aboriginals, why skinny legs and arms but still fat? Well, I got an answer to that one. It's all the bullshit bloody refined food. Too much sugar is really what causes that one. Generally. Some of them will still have a fair bit of weight on, even if they're Yeah, they just tend to get saggy rather easy in their old age. Now, the other genes that I've come across, you won't see that one all the time, as I was saying, particularly in the Noongars of the southern part of Western Australia, and a handful here and there elsewhere, you might see it. But really speaking, that's not as common as the other two, and one of them is smelling snake. They can smell snake like you can smell mice. It's something that white people can't do, and Aboriginals can do, and they're just, for whatever reason, because of that particular gene, almost all of them, if not the whole damn lot, can smell snake. And that's also one of the ways that they test if you're got any Aboriginal genes, or if you're interested in finding out, is see if snakes have a smell to you. And, you can have a, 1/16th Aboriginal or something like that, and you'll still be able to smell a snake without a problem. And it's that's one of your dead giveaways that those genes are there if you ever sort of wondered, what your past and your ancestors were. The other one that is very intriguing is, I've got a lot of noise going on behind me. The other one that's very intriguing, speaking of noise, is a booming voice. They have a voice that will carry for hundreds of metres. Now, strange to say, this might not be normal in most cultures, but I can remember as a kid, they would have full conversations and they'd be blooming 250 metres away from each other. And they'd be yelling down the street back and forth at each other. Yeah, I'll see you later, blah, 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 blah. And they'll have a 2-minute conversation, 250 metres away. And it's like, huh? Well, they can, because they've got this particular voice that's very long and trailing. But in this, I come across something else rather interesting. It's not just the men, it's the women. Definitely, but what's really interesting is that I come across I used to play with her as a kid, but she was 1/8 Aboriginal, and I knew when she was like 6 years old, and she's now in her 20s, and long and short of it is that she was as white as white. But, as a little kid, well, you can't expect a great booming voice. But she got to the age of about, 12 or so, and the puberty started to kick in. And as puberty kicked in, she got that loud booming voice with puberty, even though she's 1/8 Aboriginal, blue hair, blue eyes, blonde and brown hair, and as white as me. Yet she still got that booming voice. But it was just a thing that she didn't have it at age 10, but when the puberty kicked in, bang, she got it. And my sister experienced that voice, and it's enough to just about make a window shatter, even though it was coming out of the mouth of a 12-year-old girl. It's quite intriguing how, that's something else that, you see adults doing it, but, we found out that in due course it's actually something they get in puberty. And, this is a girl that was 1/8 Aboriginal, yet she still had that, she still got that booming voice. And I mean, just the strength in the voice of a 12-year-old girl was strong enough to crack the damn windows. And you'd never see that in a white, 100% white, 12-year-old girl. So that was quite intriguing. But basically, that's the 3 different genes that they'll get that you only really specifically see with them, that you won't see, with white people. There's a few other things, but you may come across these with white people. But of course, needless to say, they've got a big nose. But the other thing is they're supposed to have very good eyesight. Another one is that eyes, not all of them, because the ones in the north are mixed with like Pacific Islanders come in 3,000 years ago and mixed in with the ones in the north. So you'll never see it in the ones along the northern strip of Australia. And it's more definitely as you get deeper in or further to the south, and particularly in the desert and areas where they wouldn't have had any islanders merge in with the local populace after coming from the island, so they're sort of the original genes. You'll see the very deep set eyes, and that's sort of another thing that puts them apart from Pacific Islanders, and even Torres Strait Islanders and the like. But yeah.